It's Animu time! Hello, welcome to another figure review. Today we're gonna have a look at the Figma number 78. It's Kaguya, which is another one of the Yami pre-owned figures. I have no idea what this figure is about, but what sold me on it is, one, she's kawaii, but what really sold me on it are the accessories. She comes with cool stuff like a violin, and she has cats! She has cats! Oh my god, yes, I'm one of those guys. I'm a cat person. Well, I'm an animal person. I like dogs too, but cats, guys. We got cats. So, without further ado, let's have a look at her. So yeah, did I mention that she's kawaii? Because she's kawaii. First and foremost, let's have a look at the size of this figure. She stands at about, wow, I can't figure out how to turn my ruler. She stands at about 14 centimeters to the top of her head, which means we're standing at 5.5 inches tall. Overall look and detail of the figure, we got the anime eyes. I say it so many times, but yeah, Figma and anime eyes, that's what they're best at, really. I mean, realism, just some realism things, some realism characters. All the Figma line have been hit and miss, but yeah, Animu, you can bet on that. Now the hair sculpt, it is unclean in some parts. You can see like there's parts where that shouldn't really be connected, but it's alright. It's not the worst thing in the world. Those are like the small details. The stars in her hair are very nicely painted, and the overall hairstyle. You have the one hair in the back, you might think, wow, that looks really wonky, but you can take that one off, so you can peg it in the back. Because putting her on the base is kind of troublesome with the hair, because there's no articulation in the hair itself, but it looks nicely, it's nicely molded, it's nicely flowing, and you got the one ribbon in the back, which also is movable, and just on a ball pack that really disconnects way too easily, but that's kind of a thing. I started moving her around, and that's, yeah, there we go. Stuff is disconnecting with this figure, so be aware of that. We haven't even gotten to the articulation, and you're already starting to fall apart. Girl, now overall detail in her clothes. You got the nice red ribbon and kind of like belt buckles on her chest. Well, there's a lot of paint bleeding going on, and as you can tell, there's a little bit of trouble. Well, actually, this is a lot of trouble with the paint, with the black and the pink. Now, the overall shoulder part, it is soft plastic, so will not get into the way of the articulation. And the blue line around her collar also, it's just really troublesome overall. There is the small things here and there, which, I mean, this is an old Figma. Recently, Figma has had a lot of problems with paint, but I guess this already has, yeah, bleeding, spots, holes, whatnot. So, I mean, that's something I haven't really mentioned in the last figure reviews. You have to keep in mind that we're going in closely, and I want to show you all the detail to let you know what's wrong with the paint. Although once she's in your collection, you probably don't notice that unless you go in closely. But still, I mean, it's my job as a reviewer to show you these things and tell you these things. Once again, this purple line is really not clean. The black, for the most part, it's pantsu time, regular white pantsu. We have them thighs and them stockings, which this is unforgivable though. I'm saying like, oh, this is real small things, but this is ugly. The ribbon in her stocking, oh my god. Who painted that? Like a 3-year-old? And down to the boots with the red. It has like a really interesting color scheme. I think it's all pink and blue and all nice. But then you got the boots that really stick out. And I kind of like that. It's different. So overall, the paint job on those still has some bleeding for the most part. It is alright. But yeah, not the strongest in the paint department. And we got some more like kind of, what's this black X in the back. But yeah, that's the look. Now for the articulation, it's really nothing too fancy. The hat is on the ball hinge, goes for it nicely. Doesn't really go back because of the hair. No articulation in the hair whatsoever also. I mean, would go all the way around. You can probably pull it out a little bit, but I'm not going to force it too much. And it does tilt, doesn't really tilt side to side. Once again, kind of blocked by the hair and the overall head sculpt. Then we got, as I mentioned, the shoulder pieces are soft plastic. So you got the double ball combination in the shoulder, goes up very nicely. Rotation in there, swivel in the bicep. Well, you can rotate it around at the shoulder joint. Then we got a simple hinge in the elbow, a simple hinge in the hand, which goes back, forward, and rotates around because it's just packed in. This is really stiff. I don't want to break it off. Yeah, this one also. So it is there. You can rotate it, but be careful. This one, like I was saying, it's really stiff, but stiff joints is okay. I'd rather have that than floppy joints. Now, for your torso articulation, this is all you're really getting. And as I mentioned, this disconnects very easily. It's a double bolt with a long pack that goes into her dress. But hold on, could you take the dress off just for... It's on there tightly, so I'm not gonna risk it, but it looks like you could take it off if you wanna have, you know, a skirtless version. I mean, that's up to you. Speaking of skirt, no articulation in that whatsoever, so there's no really thing to help with the legs. Legs are super blocked because of that. It's still just on ball joints with the kind of thing that covers it up, so you can rotate it around, but yeah. Articulation of the legs not great just because of the dress. You got a simple hinge in the knee, and then the foot is on another ball hinge, flat ball hinge, as Figma is known for, back, forward, and also doesn't really rotate around that much. I get a little bit, but I mean, it's really closely on there. And I almost forgot the hairpiece, which also we didn't really have a look at the Payne over here. It's just as bad as this ribbon in her stocking. So yeah, that's just on a ball joint, and it doesn't really rotate around because it immediately goes off. It's really closely on there, and the ball joint is so tiny. I mean, why even bother? So, can't even get it on anymore. But it has rotation, and it's just going off again. So yeah, there you go. Oh my god, accessories! So many accessories. Starting off with the face, you only got one, kind of like the shy, embarrassed, whatnot face. Looks nice. Then we got the hands. Two open hands. I think those are, no, the other ones are for holding cats. But yeah, two open hands. This one has a hole in it to hold this part of the violin, and the other one to hold the neck of the violin, I guess. Then two more holding hands for the toothpaste, toothbrush, and the cups, and two fist hands. Now, the really good stuff. Oh wait, we got two more hands, specifically to hold one cat. We'll get to that. This is part of the base. Well, I'm just getting this over. This is the other part of the base. Figma base is always included, guys. Some people always ask me that. Then there's the Figma back, always included with every Figma you ever buy. Unless it has been removed from the packaging, but yeah, every Figma has this. Then we got a nice case for your violin, has everything molded in there to hold all the pieces in place, nicely painted. It doesn't really, it's not really closing that tightly, so be aware of that. And by me opening and closing it even more, even less, will hold on even less. Then we got the violin. Doesn't have any strings, which it's kind of weird. They could have done some plastic strings, but for the rest of it, it looks nice. It's molded nice and very shiny also, but I mean, I guess like a violin, it should be shiny a little bit. Then we got this thing, which I don't, instruments and stuff, I don't know what to call that, so apologies. We got two mugs, a white mug and a smaller pink mug. Very nicely molded paint job. I mean, it's just one color, and tiny stuff. You got a toothbrush and toothpaste. This is amazing. I love these small things. Like, look at this. Look at how small this is. And finally, the cats. Yes. Got like a gray and white cat with the eyes closed. So nice. And the paint job is also very nice. I like how it goes from the gray to the white. And then we got this one. This is for the specific hands. That's why it has some kind of holes in there. Kind of just slide the hands on there, and she holds it up nicely. By the way, they don't have any articulation. You might see the head is connected over here, but nothing moving. That goes for all of them. Then we got one just lying on the floor. Kind of like the mouth open a little bit. Kawaii des is very nice. And my laundry is done. If you're hearing the beeping in the ground, I don't know. Then we got this one with the open eyes. Very nice. Wow, the mouth is kind of effed up, but for the rest of it, it looks very nice. I mean, for an accessory, this is so cool. And there's so many of them. And then we got the black one. It's kind of different eyes. Nice. With a little ball to play with. Once again, weirdly connected over here. Does not rotate around. And that's gonna do it for the accessories. So that's gonna do it for the final pose. I mean, it's really hard to line these hands up. But she does kind of hold the cat, but really getting everything into place exactly to cover up all the holes. Yeah, it's almost impossible. And I really fidgeted around it for a long time, and I was just like, alright, I'm done. This is the best it's gonna ever get. So, final thoughts of this figure. What do I think about this? Well, this one's pretty simple. I bought this one at like 20 bucks, I think. Of course, 20 bucks plus shipping, blah, 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 blah. But anyway, at 20 bucks, this is totally worth it. But obviously, the figure has problems, especially in the paint department. Looks really ugly on the ribbons and has a lot of paint bleeding and paint slips. So I'd say, 20 bucks, worth it. If you're going a little bit over that, it's getting more tricky, but you're getting all this stuff, all these accessories, and that's what really sold me on the figure in the first place. And at the end of the day, that's still what sells me on the figure, all the cats. You only have one face, but that's okay considering all the other stuff you're getting. So yeah, if you love accessories, this is definitely a Figma I would invest into, especially since you can use most of these things on other figures. And yeah, that's just the beauty of Figma. All these accessories like toothpaste and toothbrush. Holy crap, just like awesome. So much more posing options for all of your Figmas, and that's just a big bonus. So recommended at a low price. If it goes like, I'd say over 50 bucks, I wouldn't say Still, I mean, it's an old Figma, so I'm okay with it overall. So partially recommended, I guess I'm gonna call it like that, as long as it doesn't cost you too much. So that's gonna do it, guys. As usual, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget, if you enjoyed this review, hit it up with a like and subscribe to the channel so you can stay tuned for more figure-based gameplay stuff and whatever Kaguya Aya wants.